This is Margaret Koolman of Soul Astrology. The chart for the new moon on the 21st of February in Pisces. It's quite difficult to see, looking at it, what the intensity actually is, because the printout spreads the planets out so that you can see what's there. But what we actually have, if we look at the beginning of Pisces, is Neptune at 0 degrees, Moon and Sun at 2, and Chiron at 4. So a cluster incredibly close together. Mercury is at 14 degrees, the middle of Pisces, quite separate from the others. It doesn't really look like that. But having the Sun and Moon right in between Neptune and Chiron is drawing our attention to it for the month. Our attention to the fact that Neptune has moved into its own sign, where it rules, is acceptable, the best of it shines forward. Neptune dissolves boundaries, it dissolves definitions, dissolves everything that might hold us limited. And if you go on dissolving and dissolving everything that you can imagine, you end up with one, just light or love or space. On the more everyday emotional level, it's a sense of being involved with the emotions of humanity at large. We may all find that we're having dreams that link us to situations happening in other places in the world. We can use this as an expanded awareness of the life that we live. Because it stretches us far beyond what we can see and hear in our everyday lives, there's a tendency to be afraid of it, of its hugeness, of its connecting us to things that normally we could dissociate from, situations and people, suffering. The reflection in our earthly life of this is the news items that no matter where you look, you see and hear about what's going on in the rest of the world. The problem about it being on the emotional level can be that one feels a lot of fairly useless reactions. And insofar as one doesn't realise that one's tuned into the whole of humanity, if one takes these as emotions that are relevant to one's own personal life, it can be a sense of looking for problems, because one feels that their problems exist, that there's something to be worried about. It may not be in your personal life. There are always reflections in the personal life of what's going on in the world, but they could be really minor things and things that you've already got taped. Because Chiron is part of this pattern and equally close to the Sun and Moon, it will be the pains and sufferings of humanity that we tune into, and also the wonderful and amazing solutions that people come up with for those sufferings. Sometimes Chiron is referred to as a maverick. Its energy seems to happen when a situation has become completely saturated with itself, with the problem that's uppermost, so that it would seem that it would burst or implode. Chiron is that extra piece one hadn't thought of, which when it arrives enables everything to shuffle into a completely different space, different relationships, everything on a different level, lifted out of the problem in a way that would have been completely unforeseeable before the saturation point was reached. So to that degree, we have the choice whether to acknowledge only the pain and suffering of humanity, or whether to align with the catalyst for change, the healer. We're not necessarily called on to do anything about this, just to align ourselves with the possibilities, just to relax and know that Spirit has it all handled. The natural unfolding of life, natural growth, natural timing. If we will get out of its way and let it flow, the solutions arrive. There is always that darkest hour before the dawning, Our job is not to collapse into the darkness, but to hold to the heart, which is the sun of our self. In this chart, Saturn is trining the Pisces bunch, which suggests that through working together, through being aware of how we are in relationship and taking responsibility for our part in each relationship we have, the best can come forward. It's a steadying influence on all that sea, on all the ocean of feelings. And Jupiter, following the sextile, the green line down, Jupiter in Taurus, is perhaps focusing us on the material world, the earth itself and its oceans. All water, water that flows, pours from the sky, up and down the beach, all of it. Perhaps calling for a healing of our oceans, taking definite steps towards allowing the oceans to clean themselves. In Pisces, the key word is allowing in that sentence. The dilemma that we have that's shown up here is Mercury opposite Mars. We're likely to find that we have all kinds of fears, thoughts, solutions, dreams, hopes, all floating about, while at the same time being so keen that we should get it right that we hardly dare move, or feeling that perhaps what needs to be done is just too much. There can be a sense of hopelessness, that the problem is insuperable, and there is a forgetting that we're not alone, that humanity is the physical manifestation of this life wave, and that there's much, much more energy and positive force at our shoulders, would we just ask for help. Venus connects to Mars from Aries with the line that I like to call of service, the quincunx. It needs to be used in service, or otherwise it tends to be an undermining influence. So I feel that what this is calling for is for us to be prepared to stand by what we believe, act when we feel moved to act, say what we mean, be direct, and that this is in service to what needs to be done. That way it will work. The undermining would happen if we take our own personal space as being separate from everybody else and try to cut ourselves off from what's going on around us. So when Aries joins in the work that needs to be done, there may be hot words, bright energy, impatience, and there can be a lot of pleasure, a lot of joy. The tarot card that comes to mind is the Five of Wands, the challenge. Everybody sharpening up their skills by kind of battling with each other, but only as a practice. Just getting the energy up, finding the enthusiasm. Not messing about, trying to please, but being clear. Perhaps this month is about allowing for any number of possibilities to arise, allowing one's imagination to flow, not being hindered by what we thought was possible, but letting the limitations dissolve. I've written more about this in the letter on my website. If you wish to receive the letter directly, I would need to add your email to my list. Just let me know. The contemplation follows. All you have to do is ask. The world of spirit is no distance and is always awake. Consciousness itself. All you have to do is wake up, and whatever you need is available. What not to do is think that you are on your own, or that you need to make your life happen, or try too hard to achieve an ideal. Ideals are guides, not goals. They have no life to sustain you. Relax the worry around your heart and let love be there to flow throughout your body and your space, constantly accepting what is there as just what is there, with compassion. Love is the sea we live and move within. Relax and be at peace.